which is the closure for the flood control scam. And it seems for him, the ending is with the filing of cases with the former speaker. But of course, I'm sure madaming tao na may tanong din doon na kung the buck stops with the former speaker lang. Diba? Because you still have Senate President Chis Escudero, former Senate President. You have the other DPWH secretaries. And of course, for the anti-Marcos, for the pro-Duterte, you have the President himself. Oo. Pero maganda yung kanyang soundbite. So nandun nagsimula yung state of accountability, the state of the nation, which is Pangulo daw siya ng Pilipinas. Hindi siya Pangulo ng pamilya niya, hindi siya Pangulo ng kaibigan niya, which is actually a variance medyo siya, variation siya ng mga soundbites no ni na Erap, ni na Pinoy about yung walang pamilya, walang kaibigan. Pero ngayon ang variation ay hindi ako Pangulo ng pamilya ko, hindi ako Pangulo ng kaibigan ko. Pangulo daw siya ng Pilipinas. So, it's a good opening, di ba? Pero of course, pwede din kasi siyang for the show. Madaming nag-iisip, it's a for the show statement because sa totoo lang wala pa namang kaso against the former speaker. Nagsabi lang yung ombudsman na we are initiating a preliminary investigation, which is actually ang tagal na. Ngayon lang parang magsisimula. So that's also a question. Parang hinabol ba yun? Para lang mayroong masabi sa SONA, which is both good and bad. Don't get me wrong, no? Aside from that, bago ka pa magkaroon ng follow-up questions, sabi ko kanina, the state of the nation is also the state of gut issues. So I think nakinig ang Pangulo sa mga advisors niya na maghahanap yung mga tao ng gut issues. Inflation, taxes, kuryente. At yung mga pinalakpakan kanina kay Pangulo, most of them will involve gut issues aside yung state of accountability with the former speaker, no? Yung taxes in terms of tax exemption, itataas yung income tax to 350,000, magiging exempted among other proposals. Siyempre yung Sariling Kuryente Act, solar panels, issue yan sa mga taong gustong magtipid, parang pinapahirapan daw sila mag-install ng solar panels ngayon sa mga bahay nila by Meralco. Gusto ni Presidente magkaroon ng batas about that. And of course, yung mga earth-shaking. Baka ito yung earth-shaking na sinasabi na announcements niya Yusek Claire Castro. No? Maliban yung kay former speaker, it is about the President talking about nuclear energy. It is about the President talking about Sariling Kuryente Act and yung systems loss charges. Among other things, no? The SONA was very comprehensive, pero nasabi mo nga kanina, maybe we'll get to that later, may mga bagay ding hindi nasabi.
Puntahan muna natin doon sa accountability, no? Very strong message yung nabanggit niya. Hindi ako presidente ng hindi ako pangulo ng pamilya, hindi ako ang pangulo ng aking kaibigan, ako ay pangulo ng Pilipinas at ang tungkulin ko ay sa inyo, mga aking kapwa Pilipino. What's the goal behind making that kind of statement public?
Before I zoom in, no, yung mga statement ni Pangulo na parang presidente ako ng mga kapwa Pilipino, ng mga kababayan, and then he ended on the West Philippine Sea and nationalistic or patriotic tone. So sa simula, actually, he was already invoking itong sense of nation or sense ng mga kababayan. Parang maliban doon sa sinabi ko kanina, accountability and gut issues, parang ang SONA niya is also the state of patriotism or nationalism. But zooming in on the actual statement niya about the former speaker, actually very short and sweet, ang bilis. Parang lang talaga, he had to get it out of the way kasi nga siya nagsimula last year ng flood control, he has to answer it right now. The other thing that we have to note is yung kanyang medyo pained na voice, no? Parang walang acting parang very natural or normal na talagang sinabi niya masakit sa kanya If I recall correctly, no, may sinabi siyang words na kahit masakit sa akin. And yung pagsabi niya noon, along with the other sound bites, talagang shows na he was pained to say it. Pero out of duty talaga, dahil Pangulo daw siya ng Pilipinas, walang kaibigan, walang pamilya. So, hopefully, seryoso yun. But of course, we have to balance that with due process. Kahit the former speaker is very much demonized, or vilified, he is also entitled to due process. Much like the Vice President. Ang daming binigay na due process sa ating pangalawang Pangulo bago siya finally nalilitis ngayon. No? Pero yung ating former speaker, yung final or ginagawang proseso ng ombudsman, let's be clear, wala pang actually na-file. And then syempre meron din yung mga elephant in the room. Ito yung gusto ko nang punta kasi nakadikit mismo kay
Oo.
former speaker. Ang hindi din nasabi ay yung role ni Senator Chis Escudero. Because key leader, yes, ang former speaker, pero key leader din ang Senate President. If we follow the logic na most corrupt budget ang 2025 and madaming insertions nangyari sa BICAM with Congressman Zaldico, but si former speaker, hindi kasi siya nakapirma sa BICAM report. Ang nakapirma sa BICAM report, unprecedented, never nangyari sa kasaysayan, the Senate President was part of BICAM 2025. So that's the elephant in the room then for the President because ang dating nga for him, the buck stops with the former speaker when it comes to the flood control scam. Pero madaming magtatanong, asan yung Senate President? Na madami na ding narinig ang taong bayan from the Blue Ribbon, from the budget insertions, etc. Among other people, I'm not just saying Senate President Chis Escudero lang din dapat yung panagutin. Parang madami pang kailangan panagutin, pero ang nasabi lang ay former speaker and I think a contractor. Parang may na-mention si Pangulo tungkol sa isang congressman. Even the contractors, ang dami pa din diyang elephant in the room. Because doon sa mga kinakausap niya in the room kanina, around 10 to 20 are contractors na madami pa dapat kasuhan. At sabi naman ni Ombudsman, we believe in the Ombudsman, sana gawin niya, no? Na madami pa siyang kakasuhan. Hindi lang tong nauna, may nauna na. Kanina na-issue ng warrant, hindi ko alam kung naka-attend siya ng SONA, si Congressman Jojo Ang of the Uswag Ilonggo. Hindi ko alam kung na-aresto na siya kanina. Hindi ko din alam kung non-bailable kasi may conditions para maging non-bailable yung graph. Graph ang kaso ni Congressman Jojo Ang. But aside from Jojo Ang, syempre yung hinahanap ng isang maingay na kongresista, si Congressman Leandro Levisne, hinahanap niya na makasuhan si Congressman Edwin Garjola. Those are the elephant in the room when it comes to the flood control cases. Baka sa tingin ng Malacanang, matuldukan na yung issue na hindi na niya hawak yon na kay Ombudsman na, pero madami pa ding hinahanap ang mga tao na ibang mga personalities na narinig natin nabulatlat ng ICI, nabulatlat ng Blue Ribbon, nabulatlat ng public, ng mga media outlets like Inquirer and other investigative reports. Madami pang dapat kasuhan So, does the buck stop really with the former speaker? But we commend the President for saying strongly na walang kaibigan, walang pamipamilya, Pangulo siya ng Pilipinas.
Kasi if you look at it, this is a common conversation when you talk about the flood control scandal, yung big fish versus small fish. Sino ba yung mga big fish? Sino ba yung mga small fish?
And we have to correct. Baka sinasabi kasi ng iba, diba, may narrative na walang big fish na nahuli. Actually, madami na. Kaso, madami pang kailangang huliin. You have Senator Bong Revilla. That cannot be a small fish. You have Senator Jingo Estrada. That cannot be a small fish. Although hindi related sa flood control, si Senator Marcoleta, that will show still na walang exempted. Lahat will be held accountable. So, nakakulong si Senator Marcoleta. Manny Bonoan is not a pro-Duterte. Alay siya ng administrasyon. Kasi naging DPWH secretary siya ng administrasyon. Of course, ang question lang is kung magiging state witness ba. Sana hindi. Kasi baka ang dating nun sa tao, is pagkaalyado nga, bibigyan ng lusot per way out. Si Bong Revilla lang so far ang administration alay kasi alyansa candidate siya. So kung maparusahan din at ma-hold accountable si Manny Bonoan, at least baka mapatunayan ng Pangulo ng administrasyon na talagang walang sinasanto. Including if merong kaso kay former speaker, but again, that will require evidence. That will require due process. Ang concern nga doon sa ombudsman is ang evidence nila sa former speaker ay composed of the 8 Marines or yung affidavit ng 8 Marines and Orly Gutesa. Although, meron yatang ibang ebidensya, so sana yung ebidensya na iba ay malakas kasi kung 8 Marines lang at Orly Gutesa, medyo questionable yun.
You mentioned kanina, no, may mga pangalan na hindi na-mention and I wanna zone in. Mahirap kasi ihiwalay yung conversation about the Duterte allies, especially that this saw na happen in the middle of the impeachment trial and some of the allies of Vice President Sara Duterte are claiming political persecution.
And did not attend.
And did not attend. So do you think it was a conscious decision from the President to not mention some of the allies of the Vice President, including Senator Jingo Estrada? Hindi niya minention doon sa kanyang report. Do you think it was a conscious decision from the President not to mention any of the allies of Vice President Duterte?
Well, conscious decision yan, syempre kasi ang tirada nga sa Pangulo ay parang iniisa-isa ang mga kalaban.
Mhm.
You have Senator Robin and Senator Alan saying that. Pero by only mentioning former speaker, ang gusto niyong iparating, wala akong sinasanto, hindi ko kayo iniisa-isa, lahat kayo. Pero kung kasama kayo, kasama kayo.
Mhm.
Parang yun yung message.
Mhm.
So conscious decision yun, definitely.
I want to talk about yung mga, you mentioned na yung mga absent natin ng mga senators, including Senator Amy Marcos. Kasi
Pero mayroon ding mga present.
Because I found it interesting, no? Dun sa komento nga ni President Marcos na hindi ako pangulo ng aking pamilya, ganyan. Yet that happened in the middle of his very public feud with his sister na si Senator Amy Marcos, who's also not present here. So, balik rin natin yung perspektibo. Ano yung mensahe na gusto nyo iparating ng mga absent na senador? Ano yung basa mo dito?
Kung babalik rin natin, parang ang sinasabi ni Pangulo ay hindi kayo senador ng pamilya nyo, hindi kayo senador ng mga kaibigan nyo. Senador kayo ng Pilipinas. So they should have still attended. They should have sucked it up, do their job, or attended the SONA. Bakit nila trabaho to attend the SONA? Because they have to hear the President's legislative priorities or accomplishments so that itong mga senators as legislators, they can adjust accordingly kung ano ba yung kailangan nilang mga ipasa na batas. Pwede naman nila sabihin, of course, na nanood sila remotely. Pero syempre, iba yung nandun ka na wala kang tinatago, na wala kang pinupolitika. Because we have to remember, VP Leni, Senator De Lima, they attended the 2016 SONA despite si Pangulong Duterte noon na trinete na binantaan na niya si De Lima. By May, after he won, before July 2026, binantaan na niya si De Lima na papaimbestigahan kita, etc. Of course, it's all bogus, no? But De Lima attended because she was innocent and she knew she did nothing wrong. And trabaho lang, walang personalan, senador siya, she has to attend. So itong mga absent na DDS senators or pro-Duterte senators, it seems like, no, from the minority, it seems like they're not doing their job. But, ipasok ko na kagad, di ba? Umattend.
Umattend, yes.
Ang
I was about
dalawang
to ask.
Villar.
What does
At
it say?
ang isang, syempre, Senator Bongo. Well, at least sila, they are doing their job na parang walang personalan, trabaho lang. Or it could indicate na they are not as close-minded to the President and to the majority. To the majority senators, meaning mas nakakausap pa din sila ng majority or ni Pangulo. So, in terms of impeachment, will that impact the impeachment? Not necessarily. But it is a better indicator than the ones who went absent.
Kasi yun nga, kung titingnan natin yung bilang, ilan yung hindi umattend? 5. Plus yung dalawang nakakulong, isang nawawala.
At kung idadagdag mo yon sa 13 na majority, that 16. Is 16. And wala tayong sinasabi sa number na 16, except it just so happens to be the same magic number to convict.
I think it's something to take note of. Nabanggit nyo nga na
for any observer, yes.
Indication lang. We're not saying, we're not trying to conclude
anything. It's not
anything.
determinative, but it could indicate certain alliances can shift or open-minded sila. Yun ang at the very least.
Punta naman ako doon sa gut issues you mentioned, no? Because
ang dami.
But every year, no, it seemed that the trend ay yung big announcement ay kung ano yung mainit ng panahon around the SONA. So a couple of years ago, it was POGO. Kasi nung time na yun yung mainit na usapin. Last year, it was flood control because yun yung time na sunod-sunod yung bagyo, sunod-sunod yung baha. Ngayon, viral. Yung mga matataas na singil ng kuryente. So,
at mga Meralco bills na pinopost.
It seems na
sa social media.
Tuloy yung ganong klaseng pattern with the President's speeches.
Well, the reason why that pattern exists is because we're a democracy. And so the President has to respond to the needs of the majority or to the sentiments of the majority. Kasi yun ang point ng democracy. He has to represent and address the interests and welfare of the people. So I am not surprised na ang malalaking mga sinabi niyang issues ay gasolina o langis at kuryente. Kasi you have the Middle East crisis and the price of oil going up, which affects the price of kuryente.
Yes.
Actually, hindi naman kuryente yung primary problem. Ano lang siya, na-affect lang din siya ng price of oil. But, ang independent na issue dyan sa kuryente, may oil crisis man or wala, is yung systems loss issue na madaming tao, they feel it's unfair na sinisingil tayo for electricity that we did not consume. Kasi yung systems loss, kung isi-simplify natin yan ay yung mga kuryente na nawala by transmitting it and generating it, pero hindi nakaabot sa consumer. At hindi naman ikaw ang nag-consume. Pero sinisingil sa'yo. Pag-usapan natin lang a bit, no, indulge me. Kasi ang problema dyan, pag inalaw natin ang electric companies to pass it on to consumers, merong tinatawag na perverse incentive. Ang perverse incentive ay normally, ang isang corporation, dahil profit motivated, gusto niyang gandahan yung serbisyo to get more consumers, to get more profit. Pero ito, pag pinapasok niya yung systems loss, ang systems loss kasi kunwari may nanakaw na kuryente or mayroong inefficiency sa pag-deliver niya ng kuryente, walang incentive sa kanya na mag-improve ng services. Anyway, binabayaran naman yung systems loss eh. So kapag inalis yung systems loss na yan, mafo-force ngayon si electric company na I have to make sure na walang systems losses. Otherwise, pasanin ko yan. So yun yung magandang incentive. Sa reality ngayon, sa status quo, may perverse incentive. So tama lang na alisin yun.
Do you think it's still possible to pursue this with the remaining 2 years of the president? Kasi kailangan pa mag-amend ng mga batas para maging katotohanan or maging realidad itong mga nabanggit ng Pangulo.
Pag gusto naman magpasa ng batas ng mabilis, kaya naman yan. For example, yung excise tax sa fuel or yung suspension, di ba? Giving the powers to the president, kaya naman yan eh. Like yung travel tax, abolition of that sa lower house, they pass it immediately. Ang bottleneck usually nasa Senado. And ang problema din natin, busy sila sa impeachment trial. So sa House, sigurado kung walang problema dyan, mapapasa nila yan kagad sa willing kuryente and abolition of systems loss. Ang tanong na lang ay sa Senado, sana makamultitasking sila.
Wouldn't that backfire though? Kasi yun nga, isa natin, masa issue to eh. Regardless kung anong side of the political fence ka naroon, it's a masa problem.